Hey guys, thanks for clicking on my video. Today I'm going to be doing my monthly favorites for the month of March. Yes, March. I'm going to start off with my empties, and I just have these facial towelettes that I found deep in my collection. They're really good ones actually. They're from the Kirkland brand, so you can buy them at Costco or Sam's Club. I think it was, I don't know which one. They used to come in like a huge box, and there was like 8 packs of these with like 15 in them. The actual towelettes are pretty big, and they always were wet. These were awesome, but I'm trying not to use any kind of wipes anymore because I just was using my makeup eraser, but I did love that while I had it. And the other thing I'm getting rid of are these baby wipes. It's just some generic brand. I use these mostly to like wipe off my lipstick, or to like maybe wipe off my palette that I use for my foundations, like that. Those lasted forever for some reason, and I'm so happy to get rid of them. Other empty that I'm getting rid of is this duo adhesive. This one's a dark tone. I'm just so over duo glue. I really don't like duo glue. I just feel like it's just not sticky enough. It doesn't stay, it doesn't last. If your eyes get teary, they will lift right away. It like breaks down the glue so quickly. So this is just one I'm just so ready to get through, and also it smells like fish. And then the other thing I'm getting rid of is this glycolic foaming cleanser from Badescu. This was one that I purchased a couple years back actually from the makeup show. They had a Badescu stand available, and I was like, you know what, just give me something good for more like pimples and stuff like that. It was okay, honestly. It wasn't amazing. I just used CeraVe or Cetaphil. I think Cetaphil. Yeah, I use Cetaphil now. It's like a few bucks, and it's just as good. This didn't do anything amazing on my face the way I wanted it to, so I'm not going to buy this again. We're going to start off with the brush that I loved this month. It was one that I purchased in January actually, and it was this huge big guy. This one's a Morphe E42 brush, and this one I was just like, I don't have anything like this. And lately I've been using it so much with my bronzer, so I'll kind of like tap the bronzer like on this edge if I'm doing this cheek, and then like really tap it into my skin and then buff it this way. And it's nice because you can really like buff it away without like, you know, messing up your hair or anything like that. I was actually on FaceTime with a girlfriend, and she was like, oh, what brush did you use? And I was like, yeah, I think you should get it. And this is the one we're talking about. The next brush that I'm using, and it's become my favorite, and it's so sad, it was because I lost 2 of my eyebrow brushes. I'm so bummed about it. It's like those MAC ones, and I think it's a MAC brush. I don't know where it is. It's the Motives angled liner brow. This one I received in like a package, and there was a couple of brushes that was in that package, but this in particular was so stiff, and I remember thinking like, ugh, I don't like it for liner. But it's amazing for the brows because it's super stiff. It can get really defined and like crisp in the bottom edge of your brow. So I'm so happy that I have this. The next favorite is a foundation that I was kind of waiting around and really trying to make sure that I loved it before I told you guys about it, and that is the Wet n Wild foundation. I'm using the color Caramel. There's another one that's a little bit lighter. I just don't think it's a good undertone for me specifically. I'd rather lighten this one up with a different foundation. The reason I like this one a lot is because I actually took it with me to Georgia, and I didn't bring a palette with me. But this one comes with like this little spatula guy. You can literally just put it on your face without getting your fingers dirty. It was such a lifesaver. I did my makeup in the car, and then I did my makeup in the bathroom where I had like no counter space at all. I really like this. I thought it lasted really well on my face. I did a wedding. I was out making s'mores. I did a whole little day trip, driving around the lake kind of area. And every single time I wore this, it stayed really well. I did mix this one a little bit with the L'Oreal Pro Glow in the lighter version just to kind of mix the colors. But I could have just done with this a little by itself because you can always lighten this with a concealer. I love it so much. And it's so cheap too. It's so cheap. I can't wait to buy another one just because I know it's cheap. Another favorite in the month of March, that was actually more at the beginning of March, was my concealer, my Studio Finish concealer in NC35. I was doing an entire declutter video, and this one was one that I was like, I can't toss this. I was using this one specifically for my brow and to carve out the kind of the arch of my brow, and I was using it so often that it just became like an instant favorite. I also have been using this for my like lid area because I will douse it with some powder on top anyways to make sure my eyeshadow lasts. Oh, and on really lazy days, I also use this underneath my eye area. If I know it's going to be a short time where I wear this concealer, I'll just toss it underneath my eyes. I won't even worry about it creasing because it's going to be a short time that I take it off anyways. So I like this little handy dandy concealer. Another concealer that has been talked about to death by everyone and their mothers is this Tarte concealer. I love it. I love it. Oh, it smells yummy too, actually. It smells so fresh. I was kind of going back and forth between a bunch of colors. I actually did get the medium color. And the medium is what I'm wearing now, but I just don't think it's that amazing. I'd rather get a color that's closer to my skin tone and then lighten it up with like another concealer in this area than to like really make that like whitish area here work for me. Does that make sense? So I'd rather it be like my skin tone under here and then brighten it up in this area with like a different product. And this one is in the color Tan Sand. I remember when me and my sister were at the store, we were trying it on our hands, and then we kind of walked around and then it dried and they all looked crazy. Like they all looked way too dark or they dried pink or whatever. But you have to test it on your face and you have to test it out with like blending it out, putting a setting powder, putting foundation on. It doesn't dry the same. The colors don't translate correctly when you're testing them on your hand and letting it dry on your hand. It's so different. I'm going to stick with the Tan Sand. I think it's like the best color for me, and I know I'm going to get tan in the summer anyway, so this is going to still be a good color for me. It does amazing. So people compare this one to the Pro Longwear Concealer by MAC, and I would agree. I think it does last the same. The thing about this one though that I think works better is that it doesn't gather in any of your under eye areas. You don't necessarily have to set this one. With the Pro Longwear, I think that on some people you do because it'll crease a little bit in those fine lines. I'm super happy with this. You don't need a lot of product. I only use some of it underneath the eyes. I don't do like a bunch of stripes on my face. I just don't think it needs that much. I'm just so happy that me and Sandy got to play with this and we each have this in our collection. So yay! This is like my favorite for real. And I also like this over my lids because I don't even have to set that either. Next face favorite is this Wet n Wild pressed powder. I haven't been using a ton of powders with my foundations. I always usually will use a powder just basically like in this and this area so that when I put my bronzer on it won't skip. But I've been loving to use something like this because it doesn't offer a ton of coverage the way my Studio Fix powder does. And it's just like a light dusting. The color that I use is Golden Tan. I think it's like a perfect match for me. It doesn't do anything too light or too dark. It's just a solid in-between color. This is super cheap too. So I've been wanting to go back and like find one for like bronzer because I think that it makes a really good like bronzing color if you have something deeper in this kind of formula. This is like $5, $6. It's crazy. I love it. Oh, and then next for my eyes is actually a new purchase of mine. I got this because they were always sold out, and I've heard girls talk about this over and over, and I was like, where is it? It's a matte liquid liner from NYX, and it's pretty much like that brush tip that NYC has, but this one's in the NYX formula. I think it's amazing. Something about the brush is a little bit different from the NYC. I think it's a little bit shorter or maybe more firm, but I've used it a few times and it stays on my lids so well. Dry super matte. It's very, very black. This is like a go-to. I will say it was really hard for me to find at the store, so when I did see it, I bought two, one for me and my sister because I knew that she probably wouldn't find it. So if you see this in stock, stock up. The next favorite is something that I've just like been trying to wear because I wasn't wearing it often, and it became like something that I really liked. This is the Essence Make Me Brow Eyebrow Mascara, and it's very similar to like the Benefit Give Me Brow type thing. I use the color number 2, Browny Brows, and it does a really good job of like coating my brows. I'm the kind of person who never uses like a clear brow gel or anything like that. I just kind of do my brows and go. Every once in a while I'll take a picture and I see my brows kind of do one of these, and like I'm like, for a second I don't really care, but then sometimes I'm like, oh, I should have used a brow powder, or I should have used a brow gel. I like this one a lot because it does have a little bit of fibers in it. I don't see a huge difference with the fibers per se, but it does kind of deepen up the brows and it makes them just like stay still. With fluffier brows, if you have those, or if you have those Mexican brows that just kind of go straight flat, you're gonna need this because it just does an amazing job and it doesn't do too much. And the thing I like most about this that other brow products don't have is that this bristle is teeny weeny. It's so tiny, and there's a ton of product in here, so I've been loving this a lot, and it's like super cheap because it's from Essence. Then the lip product that I've been kind of obsessed with are these Full Throttle lipsticks. Oh, I was talking about this at in a tutorial, that's what it was. And this feels like a lipstick when you put it on, but it lasts like a liquid lipstick. It's so much more comfortable than a liquid lipstick because you can really glide it on and get it precise, but it lasts so long. It doesn't dry your lips, but it really doesn't smudge. And then they had a bunch of colors, but then they finally came out with more. And this one's in the color, oh wait, what color is this actually? This one's in the color Kiss the Dust. At first I was like, this isn't going to show on me too well, but it really is a great nude. It kind of gives you a little bit of like a mauve-y tone to your lips, but it just depends on your lip coloring too. I think this is like one of my favorite nudes, and it's so easy to apply because you don't need to have that liquid lipstick steady arm with it. You can just apply it with a lipstick and then go and not worry about it. So if you guys haven't tried these Full Throttle lipsticks, they're amazing. Every single color is worth it because of the longevity and how it wears. I wish they just had a bigger spectrum of colors because this formula is the best. Alright, and then the last one that is like, I've been hunting for this. Hunting for it. I'm going to play around with it some more, but I really think that this Milani Mist is the shit. So I have, I've tried the L'Oreal one, I've tried the Maybelline one, I've tried the MAC one, the Mario Badescu one, the Ben Nye one, and the Mayron one. You guys, I've tried it all. They say that the Ben Nye one is the best one for matte skin. It smells like peppermint on your face. It's really kind of awful. The spray doesn't really spray all that well because it gets little droplets. This one gets droplets on your face too. I did love it for wetting my sponge, but pretty much that's it. This one to kind of douse my face before I do moisturizer. But this mist is so fine. It doesn't leave big droplets on my face, and it kind of smells good. It's like a perfumey, like old school perfume smell. I mean, you can just directly, you don't have to do this far. You can do it closer, and it just like gives a really beautiful finish. It will give a little bit more of a luminosity. So if you don't like that, wait for it to completely dry. And then what I've been doing is I use whatever, my beauty blender when it's kind of like damp. As soon as this dries on my face, I'll like take my powder and just kind of tap it and then put it in the areas where I don't want it to look oily. And that's usually my forehead, around this area, and then a little bit under. And then everywhere else can stay kind of glossy. I have to test it out some more, and I'll give you guys an update if it does last forever and ever. I'm not a huge believer in foundations lasting longer because of a spray that you put on top. But the way this mists all over your face, I wouldn't be surprised if it did make a difference. So I'll play with this more, but for the most part, I love it because of the fine mist, and I love it because of the way it smells, and I love it because it does give you a luminous glow after your foundation if you're wearing more of a powdery or matte finish. Really hard to find. I found one finally. Every single Walgreens I go in, I look in the Milani section. This one's always out of stock. And so this last one that I went to, there was only one left, and it's like tiny, the packaging is cute, everything about it is just amazing, and it has a really good top to it too. So yeah, if you see these, get your hands on them, buy two, because it's worth it, it's amazing. Alright, those are all my empties and favorites. I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you have any monthly favorites for this month, leave them in the comments below. I'm always interested in seeing what you guys love too. I'll be posting a tutorial very soon of a very good spring classic look, and I'll also be continuing my declutter series for either highlighters or lipsticks. It's gonna be hard. Alright, I'll see you guys later. Bye.